Chhaīrē and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at John chapter 4, just doing verse 14 today. Here is our rubric, everything that we look through as we go through this text. Let's go ahead and get started. Hos daan piei ek tu hudatos hu ego doso autoi, u me dipsese eston iona. Alato hudor ho doso. Autoi genesetai en autoi pege hudatos halomenu eis zoen ionion. And there we have it. Very first word is a relative pronoun, which is pretty nice. Those things are very easy to spot with the aspiration right there. So we know that that one is clearly the masculine singular nominative. I think I just did that backwards for normal, but that, if you recall, is hos, he, ho, with accents, usually. So that is our subject, and looking ahead, we have this delta, and it's missing an epsilon, which has disappeared because of elision. We have a vowel following right there, very common. So that's just connecting us with verse 13. And then we have this particle here, which is telling us that we have a certain type of question or condition. And then here we have our verb with pa, and that sub-iota there should be an indication to us of this word's form. Now, this comes from Pino, I think. So the nu has dropped out, and this gives us the aorist stem. And with that on, this is going to be a subjunctive. So that's third singular aorist, active subjunctive. And this one means to drink. So who drinks? Now, when we have a relative pronoun with on, normally we can translate that as whoever, a general, because this is setting up a specific type of phrase. So, but or and, whoever drinks. That's a terrible looking R. It's only slightly better. Ek tu. Ek here is clearly taking the genitive as per normal. And this is going to be a genitive of source, I think would be the best way to describe that. Tu hudatos. And here we have another relative pronoun we know because of that aspiration mark again. So a prepositional phrase ends right there. And hudor is neuter and singular. Omicron sigma of the third declension. So drinks from or out of the water. Who? So that one is going to be our genitive singular, either of the masculine or of the neuter. Since who appears to be referring back to hudatos, it's most likely neuter. So genitive singular, neuter. Which, oops, that is not spelled with an O. Which. Ego is our subject form of the personal pronoun. Very familiar. Which I, and since we already have the subject here in doso with that omega, this I is just making it more emphatic, which I myself, dido mi doso, that sigma there without any augmenting vowel on the front, tells us that this is going to be a future. I myself will give. Autoi with that sub-iota there is dative singular, and this is going to be masculine, referring back to the hos, to him. All right, then we move on to our next clause, u me. So when these two are together, we know this is a very emphatic negative. So I'll get to translating that in a second. But here we have our verb dipsese. Epsilon iota right there tells us that this is a third singular, to go again with hos as its subject, it seems. Eta sigma there tells us that this is not, in fact, the present stem. However, the present stem is not one of the ones that contracts, where the C comes through, I think. And since it's been a couple weeks since I was back stateside, I don't remember how much exactly we talked about this, but I think we talked about the form of dipsao, which could also be dipseo or dipsoo, so with two omegas. But anyway, This eta is just telling us that it's a contract verb and confirming for us future, active, indicative. Sorry about the lighting. I only have one window, a grossly yellow light bulb and a lamp that sometimes works. So we're stuck with this middle of the afternoon recording. So will be thirsty is what that one means. So ume as a emphatic negative. Let's say will indeed not, or maybe by no means will be. I'll write both of them down. Will indeed not thirst. All right, ace. Since it's unaspirated, we know this is the preposition, which is taking a look ahead with the tone is taking accusative. And that's going to be tone tells us singular. Iona. Here we have I'm still confuses me because of the Latin part of my brain. This a here is accusative singular masculine because we know because of the nu there. Our article is, of course, ho, no accent, hey, to. So that omicron there without the nu just confirms masculine. So accusative, singular, masculine. Into stops our prepositional phrase right there. Into the age, or we might say forever, comma, but an emphatic but, exclamation mark right there. To hudor ho, so we don't have a verb here before our relative clause. So that means we're going to need to search a little bit further. Doso, this is a repetition of that, don't need to parse it again, but doso is the verb of this relative clause. I'm going to add comma there. Doso autoi, aha, here we go, genesetai. So that is the end of our relative clause, and this is what we want to look at right now. We have tau alpha iota as our ending, so that's going to be a third person singular of the middle passive, and in form at least. And this is from ginomai. So since we have, instead of the iota, we have epsilon, eta, and sigma right there, then this tells us that this is not present tense. Instead, we have future again. So third singular, future, deponent in this case, and indicative. Okay, so but to hudor could be our subject or it could be our object. The to doesn't really help us there. En autoi, prepositional phrase. Pege is the wrong form for that. And looking at pege though, that eta is clearly a nominative singular form of the feminine. And we need to remember that genesetai can work the exact same way as Amy, so it could be linking two nominatives together, which then still leaves open the possibility for this to be accusative. And then when we think about it even more, genesetai, it doesn't want a direct object, so an accusative doesn't make any sense there. So nominative is the most likely option here. I don't know what else it would be. So nominative singular neuter, nominative singular feminine. So these two being linked together with genesetai. And we'll actually run through the translation of that after we take a look at the forms of these two. So in, taking the dative, we know because of the sub-iota right there, and this is singular, and it's going to be masculine, again referring all the way back to hos, in him. And then to hudor, hodoso, we've already got that. Ho from hosheho because of the accent right there. That one doesn't have an accent normally unless you have one of those types of words that gives its accent up to the word preceding it. I don't remember what they're called. I think tis is one of them sometimes. One of the tises, not the other tis. Yes, so this one, relative pronoun again, and since there's no nu right there, or no sigma right there, we know that it's referring to hudor as a accusative because doso is taking the object. Singular and neuter. Referring back to that. And then autoi, same as that, but without the prepositional phrase. No need to parse it. And now we can translate all this together before getting to that. But the particular water which I will give to him will be, oh, not will bo, will be in him. And then pege, forgot to talk about the meaning of that. Pege means something that's flowing, or it can mean a spring. So spring is going to fit best into the English. And now we can move on to the rest of this verse. So hudatos, here we have the tau omicron sigma, which is our genitive singular ending for that third declension neuter. Halumenu, see this men that we have right here, that tells us that this is at the very least in the same declining style as a participle. And this is a verb that we have, which, since we have an omicron right there, that tells me that this is not a contract verb, so it's probably just allo as the verb form. Based on what this means, it comes from a verb. But the omicron upsilon right here, that just tells us that it goes with hudatos. So those two together, no need to parse it other than to say that this is no change in the stem. I think, yeah, I don't see any change in the stem or any other markers that would tell us that this is anything other than present. And deponent, so allomai, yeah, it would be allomai. Present, deponent, participle, okay. Spring of, and then this word means, again, springing up, a welling up. It's used, its meaning is to indicate the motion of a human or the motion of water. And I think most Bibles will take it as springing up or welling up. So that's what we are also going to do here, because that is about as close as we can get in the English to the idea here. The moving water, I don't think that makes much sense. I think there would be a different verb if that was intended. So of springing water, or of welling up water. That's a bit odd. All right, ace, prepositional phrase right there again because of no aspiration. Eta nu and omicron nu, so we know that this is taking accusative. That eta tells us that this is at least a first declension in form. Ionion, since it has an omicron on there, initially we would be tempted to say that, oh, well, I guess this must be a masculine first declension. But no, what we need to remember for this is that ionion as an adjective is a two termination or one termination. Now I am forgetting. I think it is a two termination in that it has a set of endings for the masculine and the feminine, and then a different set of endings for the neuter. So if it were neuter, I think it just would be ioni o, or maybe something else. Yeah, I don't know. If I have time, I'll put a note to clarify which of the types of adjective it is. But anyway, it uses here the masculine form to modify feminine and masculine nouns at least, and possibly also the neuter. So this isn't giving us gender. In fact, zoane is giving us the gender of the adjective, if you will. So that is the end of our verse. Prepositional phrase ends right there, and that is singular and feminine. And this means water into life eternal, or for life eternal. Period. Okay, taking a look very quickly at verse 15, we have lege, so this is a change of what's going on. So Jesus, he is done speaking here, and close quotes. All right, now we want to take a look at this in its own context, and then from verse 7. But whoever drinks from the water which I myself will give to him will by no means thirst forever. But The water which I will give to him will be in him spring of springing water for life eternal. And from verse 7. A woman comes from the Samaria to draw water. The Jesus says to her, "Give to me to drink," for the disciples of him had gone into the city in order to buy victuals. She says therefore to him, the woman, the Samaritan one, "How do you, being a Jew, ask from me to drink, although I am a Samaritan woman? For Jews do not have dealings with Samaritans." Oops. Not quite as clingy as my previous table. Jesus answered and said to her, "If you had known the gift of the God and who it is the one saying to you, 'Give to me to drink,' you would ask him, and he would give to you living water." The woman says to him, "Lord, you do not indeed have bucket, and the well is deep. From where therefore do you have the water, the living? Surely you are not greater than our father Jacob, who gave to us the well, and he from it drank, and his sons, and his domesticated animals." Jesus answered and said to her, "Everyone drinking from this water will thirst again. But whoever drinks out of the water which I myself will give to him will indeed not thirst into the age. But the water which I will give to him will be in him spring welling up water, spring of welling up water, into life eternal." And there we have it. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope taking a look at this has been helpful for you, and I hope that you have a very good day. Farewell.
What? You're still awake? Why are you still here then? You should be reading a book. Or if not reading, you should watch one of these other videos. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. See you next week.